You know,
good on Barrow.
Yeah,
absolutely. And of course,
and we have Cumbria back in the second tier, which is a positive.
Of course it is. And of course, it was the grand final in the NRL Down Under this weekend. Mark, it finished. It was a convincing win in the end, wasn't it? In terms of the scoreline, 34 points to 6 in favour of the Melbourne Storm over the North Queensland Cowboys. Convincing on the field.
Completely convincing. I mean, we'll do the reviews first. Andy Barden said, no surprise in the result. Might have been different if the Roosters played the Storm instead. Storm played a good, expansive passing and offload game this season compared to their usual defensive style of play. Scary that Oz keep producing playmakers Morgan, Munster, Thurston, Pearce, to name a few. That's going to be a difference in regards to the Rugby League World Cup.
It is. Lee Whitnell said no fairy tale for North Queensland in this game, which followed the form book perfectly. The Cowboys weren't bad, the Storm were just way too good. It's a shame that Cronk won't be there when his team rocks up in Castle Leeds next February, but I certainly will be. And finally, on this
Rich
one.
Wilkinson, not a classic grand final. Like most people, I wanted the Cowboys to win, so it was a tough watch. You have to admire and respect the Storm for what they have done this season. The best team won.
Yeah, they've been one of the dominant sides all year, haven't they?
Well, they've been the dominant side. They've been absolutely hugely dominant. They've been so good. They've been so impressive, and they've been entertaining. I mean, loads of players had huge games as well. The unfortunate injury to Fensom early on
horrific, right?
For the Cowboys, you know, that was a big blow for him personally, for their side. But even up to that injury came on a sort of collision between two Cowboys players after Jesse Bromwich had absolutely ripped through him and should have passed, and they would have been the Storm would have been ahead at that point. They were already showing that they were the better team, and it just kept going on that way. There was some really good pieces of play. Some really the winger Josh Adokar. I really enjoy watching him play. And then the big three put on a big three played in. It resulted in a try, but it wasn't to Billy Slater. He had to sort of fend off someone and get a loopy pass out. But yeah, so much good stuff from the Storm in this game. And whilst you want to hate the Storm for some of the stuff that's gone in the past,
you can't take this away from them.
You can't hate on the Storm this year for how they've played, and you can't hate on them for this game because they were really entertaining. They were really good. They try different things. You know, those sort of Cooper Cronk kicks that are very different. They're promoting youngsters. There's the young 19-year-old in the centre who scored one of the tries. You know, Munster. They've found a way to keep him in the side this year with Slater returning. Slater was brilliant in this game. The Kafusi in the second row was outstanding. Runs phenomenal lines, either to take the ball or to just be a decoy runner. And yeah, from 1 to 17, they were just really, really good, weren't they?
Yeah, they'd be worth a watch if they come over and play in the UK, won't they?
There's a worry there because I don't think they're really up for that sort of thing, but they may be required to as NRL winners. Maybe it's part of the deal.
There you go. Okay, so that's the World of Rugby League well and truly covered. Mark, what happened in predictions in the Super Brew?
We both went 5 out of 6.
There you go. This
now means you have an insurmountable lead, Tom.
Barely though, 2 points.
148 to 151. Because if White even had won, it would have been 149, 150, and we could have tied it up.
We'd been going.
There you go. Mark McCartney wears the yellow cap in the Super Rugby, but more importantly, Dr. Bob Phillips has a narrow lead at the top. It's less than 1 point, his lead, with 1 game of the season left, so it really could depend on what those top 2 or 3 do with their grand final predictions.
Yes, well, let's get on with that though, because now it's time to bring you our previews and predictions for the Super League Grand Final. Okay then, Mark, we're coming to the end of episode 161 of the Super League pod. All that remains for us to do now is to give you and our listeners their chance to air their views on what's going to happen in this weekend's grand final. Castleford take on Leeds at Old Trafford in this season's showpiece event. Should we talk about the fan predictions first?
Yeah, we haven't even written down ours, have we?
No, we haven't. we haven't.
Okay, Dr. Bob Phillips says, who's a Leeds fan, says Leeds by 2. Mitchell Darts, who's a Leeds fan, Also says Leeds by 2, but goes with a more specific 16-14. Fatboy Rob, who's a Cass fan, says Tigers 52, Winos 6. Paul Ludo Lewis says Cass 25, Leeds 16, and man of the match, Danny Craven.
There you go.
Because we all know that Danny Craven is the Super League's Matt Moylan. He is
man of the match.
He is, the Swiss Army knife. If you got a job in rubby league that needs doing, Danny Craven's going to do it.
Yeah.
with precision and reliability.
Right.
Paul O'Brien, Leeds 22, Castleford 18, man of the match, Rob Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Cutthroat Jake said, my head tells me Cass, but my heart says Leeds, so I'm going to listen to my heart and go with Leeds giving a grand send-off to Burrow and Maguire. Lee Whitnell says, I'd like to see Cass win, but can't help think Leeds will nick it. Big game experience, send-off for the oldies, and revenge for the 66-10 narrative. Score Leeds 26-24 to Leeds is what he's going with, Lee. Sean Orton, he's predicting that he gets onto his rare fourth can of cider, so a bit of a reverence for us there. Lee Randall says Cass by 8. Rich Wilkinson says, now then lads, surprise, my grand final prediction is a Rhinos win. We have been no chance in plenty of our grand final wins. This one is no different. You cannot underestimate big game experience. Other than Hardacre, Cass don't have any. Can Cass handle it? Leeds on no chance. Cass only have to turn up, right? The narrative-ometer just exploded. Leeds to break Phil Clark's heart again.
Very good.
Chris McEwen said, I predict Fatboy Rob will be very disappointed with the quality of food outlets near Old Trafford unless he's that drunk. It's irrelevant.
I suspect that is the most pertinent part of that statement.
Dom Hodgson says, my predictions are I won't be too upset if we lose. Making the grand final after last year is an amazing achievement and Cass should be rewarded. But Leeds by 4 and Fatboy Rob deleting more tweets than the White House press room after the final whistle.
There you go.
And then Ollie Smith says 27-10 to Cass.
Right, so what do you reckon, Mark?
I think Cass's glory season is going to end with grand final triumph. Yeah.
My heart desperately wants Castleford Tigers to lift the Super League trophy. I will be cheering them on vociferously on Saturday evening, with real hope in my heart that they come away with a win. But my head tells me that Leeds are going to win it. 24-18 I've gone for in favour of the Rhinos for many of the same reasons as our listeners have been pointing out to us. I think the muscle memory of these big games, I think the fact that, the muscle memory that these players have of these big games, guys like Danny Maguire, guys like Rob Burrow, and then the players around them that will be playing that have been there and done it, like JJB and Carl Ablett, and just so many voices in that Leeds dressing room that have seen everything and done everything and are on that uptick. I think that's how it's going to play out. I think Cass will perhaps take an early lead and get themselves pegged back by Leeds. I really hope I'm not right, to be honest. I really want Castleford to win. I want to see a scintillating 30 points Castleford win, to be honest. But I think Leeds are too good for that. I think Brian McDermott's too good of a coach for that. So that's why I'm begrudgingly plumping for a Leeds win. Plus now I've beaten you anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I've got Castleford 29 and Leeds 16. I'm not entirely convinced who the sort of wider pitch at Old Trafford's going to benefit. It's a little bit longer than Cass's pitch, but it's not still full length, is it?
Correct.
So I don't know. I think Cass have got such a good kicking game. I think a better kicking game than Leeds, even though Danny Maguire's had a good year on that front. That's going to be a big influence.
Yeah.
I think Cass's precision in execution. There's a couple of players who didn't quite be as precise last week, but I think Saints are a tougher goal line defence side than Leeds are.
Yeah.
You're talking where you're going to be going with your sort of passing moves. Generally, is out towards Greg Eden. Well, I feel like going through Callum Watkins and Tom Briscoe's area might be a little bit different to me.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how the halves inside them stand up. And Danny Maguire's had a few off games defensively this season for me. But I'm not saying this will be one of them, but it could be. For Leeds, obviously, it's all around that dummy half spark and what they can do off the back of that. But if they're not dominating in the forwards, and when you've got people like Milner who just want to destroy his own body for the cause, people like Moores, Senny Lafayette, who are huge bodies, I don't necessarily think that will be a bigger factor. And I just think Castleford have got over that choker situation. I think they've got big. People say this big game experience stuff. Well, Andy Lynch had big game experience before Burrow and Maguire were really nailed on in that count. So I'm sure he won't have forgotten how to play in Grand Finals and World Club Championships and the like. They've got a few other players who've been in finals from a few years ago. They've got experienced players like Millington, Webster, people like that aren't going to be scared by the occasion.
We've got John Monaghan around the club
nowadays, I don't feel. And they've also got so many players who played so well so consistently that I just don't think they're going to have enough of them have an off game to lose.
There you go. I honestly hope you're right. I hope your justification is better than my inclination, but there you go.
That's my call anyway.
That's it. Right, well there you have it then. That is our predictions for the Super League Grand Final. All that remains for us to do now, Mark, is wrap up the show. Okay, we're coming to the end of not just this show, but we're getting to the high point of the season as well. Last week's trivia, though, Mark, was a bit of a shower of shite from my point of view in terms of my performance. So I'm hoping that I can up my game a little bit this week. What have you got for us?
Grand Final winners.
Brilliant.
So, players that have won Grand Finals on both sides of the world. And I'm only looking at the NRL, since that became the NRL, and Super League since they started having Grand Finals. So we're basically looking from 1998 onwards.
Terrific.
Okay? I pulled out 8 players. I'm pretty sure there's no more, but I'm sure someone out there will correct me if I'm wrong. Right. I picked out 8 players over a big span, starting from like 99 to last year sort of situation. I'm gonna you get 3 points if you get it just from the years they won the Grand Final.
Right.
Okay. You get 2 points.
I have to say that I feel like the quizzes have got tougher as the years gone on, but go on.
You get 2 points if you get it from the years and from the years they was and the clubs they were playing for.
Right.
Then you get 1 point if you get it from the years, the clubs, and the positions that they played in.
Okay.
You only get 1 guess per clue.
Right.
Maximum 24 points available. So if you don't get it after your 1 guess per clue, then you're out for that one.
Okay.
So let's see how we get on.
Right.
And remember to try and give it a suspenseful pause before the...
There's a difference between a suspenseful pause and the sound of a man not knowing what the fuck to do. So go on, but yes, okay.
Right, so this person won the NRL in 1999.
Right.
And won the Super League in 2004. Any ideas?
4. Wasn't it? When did we last win it? We were 2005. The year before. I'm not sure now. Right, go on.
So, for the NRL, you won it with Melbourne.
Okay.
And for Super League, you won it with Leeds.
Right.
So, can you think of anyone that Leeds might have picked up from Melbourne in that spell?
I'm trying to think. Go on, what's the next clue?
He was a winger in both of those sides.
Oh, fuck, well, that's not what I was thinking. That's not even where I was looking on the pitch. Go on, what was his name?
Well, you don't get any points, but,
I know
just for fun, I'm pretty sure he ended up at Bradford.
Oh, God.
For 1 year, I'm pretty sure. And is a PNGian.
And he's a PNGian?
Yeah. Marcus Bannon.
Oh, I wasn't fucking... Oh, my God. I was getting to it before you said that. Jesus. Yeah, he did play for us as well. And he's a PNGian.
So, second player. He won the he won the NRL in 2001.
Right.
He won the Super League in 2011.
Right, so big gap then.
And I'll sneak in an extra clue for you. He's been announced